Andrew, you're the final presenter, and we want you to talk a little bit about the private jet travel. And to answer my question, is it just for the one percenters?
Thank you, Russell. Thank you for having me. Thanks, everybody, for having me. This has been a wonderful experience so far, and it's been great to meet many of the people in the room. I will think of all of you on Sunday when I'm sitting in 10-degree weather watching the New England Patriots, and I'll think about the warm reception and the weather here, so thank you. My name's Andrew Collins. I run a company called Sentient Jet. We have been in business 15 years, and what I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about is the private jet market, ultra-high net worth and luxury marketing based on our experience, which may or may not have parallels, and then some of the things that I'd like to point out from a data standpoint that I've learned about the impact of private aviation on the Caribbean. Okay. So for those of you that have flown in a private jet, good for you. It's always a great experience, or most of the time, and when it's not, I hear about it. But there are basically 4 ways to access a private jet right now to the retail consumer. One is owning an aircraft, okay? The other might be owning a fraction of an aircraft. In both cases, you're owning an asset. So what you are doing is you're not only putting up significant capital to make that purchase, but you're then tied to that asset and its depreciation and its depreciating value. So that's a segment of the market that works for some, but not all. When you look at the third component, which is the business we're in, it's the pre-purchasing of time. So in this particular case, a jet card, which is preloaded with time, where someone can fly on any size aircraft within 10 hours notification. So it's not an asset, it's not tied to any sort of depreciative matters, but what it is it's ultimately asset light, and it's in the T&E column. So it is a much more popular way in which to fly right now. Lastly, the sort of ultimate in non-commitment is one-off charter trips. So there's really no ties to guarantees, or there's no loyalty per se. It's simply people that are flying and perhaps do it once a year. They might do it 6 times a year. They generally shop for their best price in an expensive market, and they tend to have very distinct destinations that they go to. Major industry players, for those of you that might be familiar with some or all, NetJets, probably the biggest globally. That's owned by Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway. That's a significant entity. FlexJet, which is a sister company of mine, as is Flight Options, 2 fractional ownership companies. Sentient Jet, my company. Skyjet, which is an on-demand company, and then various multinational aircraft operators. So those would be the folks that actually, in our case, supply the aircraft and manage the aircraft for their owners. It's been an interesting 4 or 5 years in the private jet space. So I'm sure everybody remembers what 2008 and 2009 felt like. What it did to our industry is that it forced consolidation. Flying privately had been already a matured industry. And so when consolidation happened, ultimately, due to the financial crisis, firms started to go out of business. Firms that owned assets and firms that were very popular brands were not in a position to weather the storm in the financial market. What that has done is it's unlocked some really interesting opportunities for those of us that are in the market and we're positioned for it. It's also bringing in new entrants, which keep us on our toes and hopefully will drive more innovation in the market. Where private jets can play a significant role in driving local economies. So let me speak to you for a second just about the type of flyers that we have in our customer base. And I'll expand on that on the next slide, but just to give you a feel. 60% of the people that travel with us, as near as we can tell, fly for corporate reasons. 40% fly for leisure, okay? Of the leisure folks, the average liquid net worth, I shouldn't say the average, the beginning liquid net worth is about $10 million. So you are talking about the true 1%, Russell. And these are folks that can bring a great deal of money into any market that they fly to. A recent study by Elite Traveler looked at last high season in the Caribbean and looked at the top 10 destinations. And of the top 10 destinations, so this would have been between November of 2013 and April of 2014, there were over 12,000 flights into the Caribbean. That brought in close to $1 billion. These are just charter flights. These are not the people that own aircraft, fractions of aircraft. These are the people that do on-demand or jet cards. Every time one of those landed, on average, they brought $69,000 into the local economy. Wow. It's a lot of money. So to bring that even closer to home here, St. Thomas was the 6th most popular destination. Okay? Cyril King saw 822 charter flights during this time, and it represented an additional $56.7 million in revenue. Where does the revenue come from? What is driving that number? So, as suggested in this study by Prince & Associates and Elite Traveler, it's villa rentals, it's crewing up yachts. Okay, some people are coming here for the destination, some people are coming here to meet a yacht. It's for landscaping, it's for staples to really supply the house. It's a number of things, but it is a $69,000 average. Just to give you a comparison, NASA was number 1, the Bahamas, with 4,034 charter flights that arrived during that time for a total of $105 million in extra revenue. So clearly jets can have that kind of an impact or that customer base. And what I would tell you is that the private jet industry is both a conduit, so a way for you to travel, but it's also a channel. So I'm going to expand upon that a little bit. What we see at our company, right, the proprietary data that I'll share with this audience, 83% of the folks that fly into the Caribbean for using our services do so on either a mid, a super mid, or a heavy aircraft. What that means is that they are bringing more passengers in than typical. So we do a lot of light jets, which is about 5 passengers. Mid-sized jets can get 7 to 8, super mids 8 to 9, and heavy jets can bring up to 16 people. What it means is essentially you're getting our best customers. So the question I have is what are you going to do about it? Okay? Because we're literally bringing these folks in, and they are people that we've spent a lot of money acquiring, bringing in, forming the brand relationship, and really managing our brand promise to them. So there's opportunity there. Additionally, between 2013 and 2014, we saw 24% year-over-year growth of flights coming into the Caribbean. It's about $10 million in revenue for us. Okay, so it's not the biggest component of our revenue line, but it's one that's growing. Okay, the next slide, please. So let me talk to you a little bit about what that means. In 1999, Sentient invented the jet card model of flying. It's pretty simple. Jets in general, if you wanted to charter, and still to this day, it can have a lack of transparency in the marketplace. It's not very simple. You have to make a lot of calls, emails, etc., and you have to kind of know what you're doing. We simplified the process by pre-packaging 25 hours on an aircraft of the size that you choose at the time of booking. So one time you might use a light jet, the next time you might use a mid-sized jet, and all we're going to do is draw down from that account, like a debit card, okay? We have 4,000 jet card holders, and a new entrant to Sentient, that's somebody that's brand new to the company that purchased from us for the first time, averaged an entry point of $136,000. Our average customer is going to fly through that in 25 hours, or that 25 hours in about 8 months. So we get 2 opportunities in a given year to work with that customer on both a sale and then a renewal or a repurchasing of that card. Last year, and this is brand new numbers, we sold the equivalent of 1,500 25-hour jet cards. Why I'm telling you this is when we get to the statistics, okay? 35% growth in year-over-year sales. That's the biggest number I have seen in 5, 6 years, maybe 7. Okay, what that means is now think about the product. People are purchasing 25 hours and they're purchasing it ahead of time. It means they still have to fly that all off. So that means that they're coming. Here they come. Okay? Strong growth in revenue, strong growth in flying volume, and I expect that to increase, as I said, and it's been some of our largest flying in nearly 7 years. So most of our customers are US-based, with a high concentration on the eastern seaboard. So these are your customers as well, in many respects. So I just say that because the US being a feeder to BVI, we are seeing a real strong surge in this particular space. You have the next slide? So let me talk to you about my statement around being a conduit and then a channel, okay? One thing that's really important in our world, much like in your world, and this phrase was brought up with, Russell brought it up about Cuba, but it's that one and done concept. We certainly don't want people to purchase from us once a card, fly it off, and then leave. We want to retain them. So if you think about an ultra high net worth consumer and you think about how elusive that customer might be to obtain or acquire, one of the things we launched 2 years ago is an exclusive benefits guide. This was a surprise and delight that went out to our customers and featured about 20 different premium offers that they received just because they were a Ascension customer. This was a thank you to our customer, and it was a little bit of a hidden agenda on our part. It was a great way for us to bring our partners in front of this base of customers. So we do a great deal of business development, and we do co-branded partnerships on an exclusive level with a number of players. Timbers is one, Sea Island is one, and they vary in what they are. They might be events, they might be destinations. Destinations by far are our most popular. Andrew Harper, a publishing instrument for exclusive content, but also exclusive access to potential like-kind experiences to the private jet space. We're the official provider for the Breeders' Cup, Young Presidents Organization, the New York Yacht Club, and the list kind of goes on. And what we find is that we look for partners that want to activate with us and have a shared type of database, ultimately. You mentioned databases. It's an important aspect of our business. What I can tell you is that we do not have a partner in the BVI. There you go. So this is a good example of, I think, where you can think of us as a channel, and you can think of when you bring together and marry the statistics I was telling you about on the average that it can bring on a per flight basis, and then you think about the idea that this is how we actually both provide a great way for our customers to stay loyal to us. And just to give you a feel for that, in 2014, we put about 300 nights on the books, either through a discounted offer or maybe there was something complimentary, but into the space, okay? And these are at, very premium resorts. So we were taking this 1% and putting them in various places based on these offers. So we can steer our base to folks if there's a real mutually beneficial relationship. Okay? One more. Social media was brought up, and this is a great kind of jumping off point, but Al mentioned the badge. We still have folks that love to jump in front of a private jet and get their picture taken, okay? It does not matter how wealthy they are. It does not matter how much they value their secrecy. You will not believe it when I tell you that if you type in like hashtag private jet or something like that into Twitter, you will find many people that love to do this. So what I would quickly tell you is, from a marketing perspective into the ultra high net worth, The other approach that we take is we are fully integrated when it comes to marketing. We do not go exclusively digital, nor do we go exclusively print. And print, because of the way that our demographic skews, is a very important piece to us. So we leverage a lot of different channels, including media and PR. So I hope you'll hear more from us. But anyway, thank you very much.